in governance, immediacy is a very, very critical issue. When people are pained, when people are feeling a particular pain, they need succor. And that's when you find a leader who will come through for them. And so these kind of visits have been envisaged by a lot of Nigerians, but they were saying that it perhaps should have come on a time, at a time that it was immediate.
Well, there's nothing wrong in that if he visited immediately. And there's also nothing wrong if he adopts the style he's adopting now. Because one, he had commiserated with all those who suffered one loss or the other in those clashes. He had sent delegations which commiserated with the people. And he had taken the steps that needed to be taken, secure those places. And then he's visiting. So it's a matter of style.
One big question again, Mr. Adesina, is the fact that you see the president, it's not as if the president cannot visit, it's not as if he's suffering from one ill health or any other thing, or perhaps he is engaged. That's some of the perception that a lot of people have. For example, you see the president at some social functions close by. He was at Nasarawa to commission some project. He was in Kano for a wedding ceremony, where a lot of people say, look, where he should be visiting are no social function, but are those areas where those kind of sad scenarios are playing out.
That has also been answered in the fact that he asked for comprehensive reports, which he needed to study. Having studied those reports, now the time is ripe to visit. Nothing wrong, absolutely, in visiting now, and nothing wrong in visiting the places you mentioned, Nasarawa and Kano.
Before I allow you go, Mr. Adesina, tell us, the focus of all of these visits is going to go to Zamfara, go to Yobe, go to River State. What exactly did he bring back from Taraba, and what we should be expecting, perhaps the details of its itinerary for these other states?
Yes, the states he will visit have been listed, starting with Taraba today, then, well, not necessarily in that order, but we know Taraba, Benue, Zamfara, Yobe, and Rivers. He will visit those 5 states because we know that there had been internecine clashes in those states which led to loss of life. So he will visit all those 5. And the reason he is visiting, one, to sympathize with the people, though sympathy statements earlier, and he had sent delegations to see them face to face, discuss with all the stakeholders, and then chart a way forward. The president is interested in enduring solutions to what caused these clashes, not just cosmetic solutions, enduring solutions. And his visit, those visits planned, are part of the enduring solution.
Thank you so much, Mr. Adesina. But will you also react quickly, maybe in 30 seconds, to Chief Edwin Clark's suggestion of state of emergency in the 3 states of the Northeast? Would the president be considering such an advice?
Under President Jonathan, state of emergency was declared in those 3 states. What did it achieve? So that is already telling you that it goes beyond state of emergency. What should happen is bringing a decisive and final end to the insurgency ravaging those states. And by the grace of God, we're almost there.
All right, Mr. Femi Adesina, many thanks for your time on the program. Let me allow you to enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much for your time on the program. Let's get to the conversation again with my guest and the panel on the program tonight. I have from Abuja studio, Mr. Aliyu Abdullahi is a member of the Buhari support group, and here in the studio in Lagos is Mr. Ken Okolugbo. He's a member of the PDP and a political analyst. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time on the program. Let's begin here in Lagos. Mr. Okolugbo, what will be your immediate reaction to President Muhammadu Buhari's visit to Taraba today?
It's pretty obvious. I like the fact that Femi was speaking from 2 sides of the mouth. It's pretty obvious that you can't defend what that is impossible for you to defend. It's what you call medicine after death. You know, President Buhari did not show empathy when on the 11th of January, 73 people were buried. And a day after, he received a delegation of 7 governors led by El Rufai, who had come to call on him to recontest for a 2nd term in office. You see, even in America, when they had the hurricane, when the latest hurricane that happened in Houston, Trump left 2 days after to visit the crisis area. Jonathan would always visit most of the areas in Abuja. And even when the coast was clear, he visited Borno at the heat of when they had suspended the elections. What am I saying? We are Africans. Our culture, even though Europeans also adopt that culture, is to sympathize with people who have come into, especially when it comes to death. And when you have a president who sits back, I mean, I was one of those that was very sympathetic to the cause of when the president's son had his accident. I know how he feels. I mean, we are all parents. You know how he feels when you lose a child, talk less of when you lose 73 children. And you don't think you should take the next available flight. You said Kanu and Nasarawa. I beg to correct you, Shehu. He went to Kaduna twice. He went to Kanu twice. We have it on record. And he went to Nasarawa.
Must the president,
so he has visited, he has made five visits.
Must the president be physically present?
Yes. That is what would tell the people that, it's not going to bring back the dead. Don't get me wrong. But the physical presence of the president, especially in an APC-controlled state, that is why we find it very, very strange. You know what you call a shooting bomb? It will give a shooting bomb immediately. I mean, time heals all the wounds. You know, we say time heals all the wounds. How many months? 2 months.
He sent ministers.
It's not
immediately
it's not
to
enough.
Dapchi. He sent ministers.
It's not enough. The minister, Lai Mohammed, is not the commander-in-chief. The commander-in-chief is PMB, President Muhammad Buhari. What would he have taken him to go to that immediately? Those girls were kidnapped.
Not his own style.
What would have taken him? Baba go slow. Is that why Femi Adesina will come and tell us that whether it was immediate, whether it was not, it's acceptable? Time heals all the wounds. By the time you go and the people have started getting over the debt and are trying to move on, is that exactly the message you're trying to send? The message you are sending is that you care for the people, especially when you have shown that these headsmen are from a tribe that you come from, and you have been accused of nepotism. So you should be able to show leadership. That's exactly what we would have expected PNB to do at that stage.
We'll take a breather, but when we come back, I know you're talking about perhaps what we're talking about on the program, so get on Twitter and let us know your views about this issue. When we come back, we hear Abdullah Aliyu's views. He's from the Buhari support group, and we get a conversation. In fact, we started after now. Join us again.